With the archives allegedly releasing right around the corner, and how I'm kind of out of ideas right now, at least unique ones, I want to take some time to go over all the new changes coming in this Rooms Overhaul update. This will include absolutely everything we know so far, from the new rooms and entities to even the more miscellaneous new features, such as the new entity logbook journal thing. We will be covering it all today in great depth. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't even know about some of the upcoming new changes I mentioned in this video, such as a secret tweak to the Lotus item you may not be a fan of if you are thinking of doing a certain cheese when the update does eventually come out. Anyways, we have a lot of exciting things to discuss today, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so most obviously, the main focus of the Archives update will be, well, the Archives. Essentially, the room subfloor we've all come to know and love for the past 3 years. Wait, has it really been 3 years since this has been added? Wow, I'm old. Anyways, it'll be entirely reworked, so it will no longer resemble what it previously looked like. Kind of. Obviously, the entire subfloor's identity isn't going to be completely stripped. It's more like it'll be upgraded. The best way I can describe it is that instead of the more simplistic build style and gameplay the room subfloor currently has, everything is going to be reworked to fit in with the other subfloors in the game, stylistically at least. This can best be seen in the new rooms that were leaked to us for this update a long while back. I think it was during Halloween which this leak came out, and it includes some familiar designs as well as some completely new ones we've never seen before. Now, as you might have been able to tell, these leaked rooms are unfinished. They don't have any decorations or really anything interesting so far. However, we can still get a lot of information out of them, at least based on what we have right now. The subfloor as a whole will still have the blue-white color palette which it has currently, and many of the rooms will be increased in size as well, and have more details. If you notice, the projector room as well as the E-shaped room found in the current version of the subfloor, prior to this update, do have upgraded models in these archives leaks. Well, at least remnants of updated models, as I said, they're unfinished. So it's likely every single pre-existing room's room is going to be overhauled in addition to some new ones being added. Like this room that is entirely filled with cubicles, we've never seen this one before. Anyways, in total, only like 7 of the archives rooms were leaked, in the leak that happened last October. However, it's more than likely that way more are going to be implemented upon the update's proper release. Moving on though, let's talk about entities. Every major Doors update includes entities, and the Archives is definitely no exception. In addition to the 3 pre-existing rooms entities already in the game, the Archives was leaked to add 2 brand new ones. These include Honcho, a towering humanoid made of paper, who would likely be some sort of boss or major character in the subfloor similar to the Groundskeeper, as well as Scribbles, who we don't really know too much about besides them just being a hostile creature. Some theorize Scribbles could be a rework of A120, but it's also possible they are their own unique entity, especially considering how one of their leaked assets are these 3D paper models, which aren't present on one of the current versions of A120. It's also important to note that some of these Scribbles leaks could be red herrings, as the developers do like to troll leakers by putting fake stuff and making us believe it's real. So just take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, more entities are likely to be added to the archives on release, but Honcho and Scribbles are the only ones we know of so far. Furthermore, it's been confirmed several times by the developers that the archives will be very lore-heavy. Specifically though, it won't be like the Outdoors where the story is completely separate from the main game. No, as the developers themselves said, Archives lore will directly set up Floor 3's story, so somehow being in this random office building directly connects to the medieval castle. Stylistically, they are drastically different, but I'm sure the developers will find a nice way to work it out. Now, besides confirmation that the Archives and Floor 3 will be connected, we don't know what could possibly entail in that. I doubt something such as Floor 3 entities would appear in the room's overhaul, but maybe there'll be dialogue from someone like Curious Light or another entity that directly references the castle or something. As you may recall, the outdoors has Grampy, who is a friendly talking entity, so maybe the archives could have something similar. Either way, I'd recommend you just keep an eye out for important story elements when this update releases, as it's always possible they could be relevant to Floor 3. Now, the last major confirmed thing specifically about the archives is actually pretty obscure, but it has some major implications for those who thought they could cheese the update. Essentially, some players had the genius idea of placing a Lotus at the very end of the rooms, meaning at any point they could just teleport to the very end of the subfloor and basically beat it instantly. The thing is though, the developers confirmed that upon this update's release, all Lotus flowers placed in the rooms will default to just being placed in the very first room of the archives, meaning you will no longer be able to just finish the update instantly. I was actually kind of worried the developers would forget about this or something, because, you know, one of the big parts of an update release is that it's a mystery, and if players just instantly get to the end and see the ending cutscene, which I assume there will be one, given how the other subfloors have one, then it would just kind of ruin the fun, but I'm glad to see they thought of this. So if you did happen to place a Lotus in the room, specifically at the very end, I'd recommend you use it before the update comes out, or it'll essentially just be useless. Now, besides the archives, the only other major feature likely to be added in this update is the journal. Whenever you interact with an entity, they will now be recorded in a logbook found in the lobby. From this, you can learn cool information such as lore as well as tips to survive regarding the entity that has been recorded. Although the only entity revealed to us so far in the logbook is Rush from the teaser, it's theorized that every single entity in the game would be present here, and you would be able to access their journal pages by interacting with them, surviving them, or dying to them. It's also possible that when the journal does release, any badges earned for previously interacting with entities wouldn't translate to it, meaning that we would have to replay the entire game again to gather all the entity pages for those who want all of them, which I think could be a really good incentive for replayability. I'm actually a fan of that. So yeah, that was basically everything we know for sure is coming in the archives update. Not only are all the subfloor rooms going to be overhauled and redesigned, I think, we only know 2 are, but I assume all of them are, but we also are even getting more rooms, brand new entities, lots of lore relating to Floor 3 surprisingly. Like I said, I don't know how an office and a castle relate, but I guess they do. A nerf to the Lotus specifically in the room so people don't cheese the update and instantly complete it, as well as the journal, which would also have a lot of lore content. This is going to be a very lore heavy update, which I am pretty happy about. Anyways, I'm super excited for this update, and I can't wait to learn more about it when its release date comes closer. So with all of that being said, let me know down in the comments what you think of all this so far, as well as if there's any other confirmed information regarding this room subfloor overhaul that I missed in this video. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.